What you're about to hear doesn't just raise questions, it shakes the credibility of the state's evidence. Because in court, a dentist claimed there were no signs of trauma on Bongani Ntanzi. But now, Ntanzi is saying something completely different.
He never checked me, my lord.
So now, the question becomes, was this ever a proper medical examination or just a box being ticked?
We can't just be normal.
Let's slow this down. The state introduced medical evidence through a dentist to support a very important claim that Ntanzi showed no signs of torture or injury. And in a case like this, that kind of evidence carries weight because medical reports are supposed to be neutral, scientific, and reliable. But here is where things start to feel off because Ntanzi was not taken there for a full body medical assessment. The purpose was to check his teeth, specifically whether he had a golden tooth or dental insert. So now you have to ask yourself, how does a dental check suddenly turn into a full trauma assessment? It doesn't make sense.
It's too much. Excuse me, it's too much.
During re-examination, Bongani Ntanzi makes a statement that changes everything. He says he never checked me, he only checked my mouth and teeth. That's not a small detail. That goes directly to the reliability of the doctor's conclusions. Because if the examination was limited to the mouth, then how do you confidently conclude there were no injuries on the body? It doesn't make sense. This is where the state's version starts to lose stability.
What's happening? Huh?
But then it gets worse. Ntanzi says his jacket was fully zipped up to the chin. He never removed it. Let that sink in. The same report that claims no signs of trauma to the neck comes from an examination where the neck may have not been even visible at all. Now, think about that carefully. If the neck wasn't exposed, how do you examine it? This is not about opinions anymore. This is basic logic. And to add to that, his hands were cuffed to that sitting chair. Here is the video for those who didn't watch it.
Now, in cross-examination, the state posited to you that amongst the conclusions of Dr. Tlokwe were that you exhibited no signs of trauma. You remember that?
Ubuzwa ke umshushisi kubuza ngayeke uDr. Tlokwe ukuthi wakutshela ke ukuthi ke kwezinye zezinto azisho noma ayithola uDr. Tlokwe watshela inkantolo ke ukuthi ke akukho okwakubonakala ke ukuthi wawunokulumala owawunako ngesikhathi yena ekubheka.
Azange ngicheke kosekadona.
He never checked me, my lord.
Mina ungicheke umlomo kuphela, checka nyamazinyo ami kuphela kaze ngifake egolide ngivela kungasukuma ngayihambela nkosengane.
He only checked my mouth as well as my teeth as to whether I ever had a gold insert, my lord. Thereafter I stood up and I left.
And my learned colleague then read from the passage where he interacted with Dr. Tlokwe on this aspect of trauma, where Dr. Tlokwe indicated that he checked your neck area for signs of throttling and he found none. Remember that?
Waphinda ke mshushisi ke wabe esekubuza ke futhi ke ngofakazi bakhe ke kanye naye ngesikhathi uDr. Tlokwe ethula ubufakazi ukuthi ke uDr. Tlokwe washo watshela inkantolo ukuthi wabheka ke la kuwena ke emqaleni noma entanyeni ke ebheka ukuthi kwangekho yini la azobona khona ke ukuthi wawukhanywa yini washo ukuthi akunalutho akuthola.
Akazange ngicheke nkosenkantolo.
He never checked me, my lord.
Futhi azange ngigumule ngisho ijacket oba ijacket lengigqola uzipho khona ushayisala. Akaze ngigumule ngisho ijacket.
I never even took my jacket off, my lord, because the jacket was zipped, my lord, up to here, the witness indicating just underneath the chin. I never took the jacket off.
Did you ever testify in this court that someone throttled you longer manual with his hands?
Ingabe wena unobufakazi owake wabethula yini kule nkantolo ukuthi ke kunomuntu owakuqinyaga la ngezandla? I never said that they throttled me. That's something different. I said that they pressed a plastic over here.
Did Dr. Tlokwe examine your neck area for signs of trauma?
Ingabe udokotela uThoko wakubheka yini la entanyeni ebheka ke ukulimala la ngibona?
Cha.
No.
Did Dr. Tlokwe ask you if you've got any injuries of any sort?
Ingabe wakubuza yini ukuthi unako nje ukulimala noma kwayiphi inhlobo?
Cha, akazange ngibuze mina.
No, he never asked me.
Azange futhi ngikhulume naye umuntu oyekhuluma nami omunye intombazana udoctor lo azange ngikhulume naye.
I never even spoke to the doctor. There was some lady that I was speaking to, but not the doctor.
Did Dr. Tlokwe ask you to remove any part of your clothing to examine your limb and body?
Kukhona yini awakucela olokho ugqokile uDr. Tlokwe ukuthi ke ukhumule ukuthi ke akubheke emzimbeni?
Cha.
No.
Mina ngilala embhedeni engifasila ngithi izandla ngifasile ngihamba nekeda ngafe ngalalela embhedeni wacheck amazinyo ngasukuma futhi.
I just lay on the bed with my hands cuffed. I also had leg irons, and he then checked my teeth. I got up and I left again.
Now let's come briefly to exhibit HH and JJ. Now in your evidence in chief in cross-examination, you have denied that you provided the information and the answers recorded in the pro forma and the contents of the statement attached thereto, correct?
Uma singeza nje kafushane ke no HH no JJ.
The state relied on the idea that there were no neck injuries, therefore no throating, therefore no torture. But Ntanzi clarifies something very important. He never said he was strangled. Instead, he says a plastic was placed over him. Now, this changes everything because plastic suffocation does not necessarily leave visible neck injuries. Now, the state's entire argument becomes questionable. They were looking for the wrong type of injury and then using the absence of those injuries as proof that nothing happened. That's not solid evidence. That's a mismatch. Now listen to how Ntanzi describes the actual situation. He was handcuffed. He had leg irons. He was placed on a bed. The doctor checked his teeth only and then he left. No full body check, no proper interaction, no detailed assessment. He even says, I never even spoke to the doctor. I only spoke to the female assistant who was there. Nothing else. Let's zoom out because this is where it becomes uncomfortable. A man is taken to a dentist to check his teeth, but somehow a report is produced suggesting no signs of torture or trauma. Does that even make sense? So now the real question is, was this ever meant to be a proper medical evaluation? Or this was just enough to create a record that could later be used in court? Because if the examination was limited, rushed or incomplete, then the conclusions becomes dangerously misleading. Now let's be clear, this is Ntanzi's version. The court will ultimately decide whether he is credible, whether the doctor's report is reliable. But now what cannot be ignored is this. This is a clear contradiction between what the doctor claims and what Ntanzi describes. And in a case like this, contradictions matter. So now the question is in your hands. Do you believe a medical report that says no injuries and a witness who says I was never properly examined? Because if what Ntanzi is saying is true, then this is not just a weak report. It's a report that may have influenced the entire direction of the case, and that changes everything. If you want more breakdowns like this, raw, unfiltered, and straight to the point, make sure you subscribe to the Hot Seat SA, and don't forget, we are on Facebook too. We don't just report the story, we question it. This is the Hot Seat SA.
Welcome to the fire where the stakes ignite, where the questions burn hotter than the night. No escape once you're locked in the heat. This is your trial on the hot seat. Ticking clocks and a sweat-soaked scene. Can you handle the pressure or split at the seams? Truth or dare with no retreat. The sparks fly high on the hot seat.